Hi, welcome to class. We're the only two right now, but the other ones will show up eventually, right? I hate my life. I hate my life. A Professor Sunrise Productions!
Hello class, Professor Sunreis here. First of all, sorry for the bad audio in the last video. It should be fixed and also be louder, so definitely let me know. In this class, we're taking a look at a replay analysis against Eddie Knister. Definitely a very sleeper pick in the pre-post format. So in this format, it should be very good, depending on the defensive cards. It has a very soft toxic win condition, I would say, in the rival Addict Knister protected by one negate in the graveyard. It can be very hard to out that card. So it's definitely a very solid pick. I just wanted to showcase you guys to remind you guys that this deck actually exists. So without further ado, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave some feedback down in the comment section below, and let's get right into the video. So here we are in the replay. We are up against Pinky Toe. We win the rock paper scissors 40 versus 40. Our opening hand is a good old break with Drewsworm, Saronia, Collapse Serpent, Regained, and Nith. Not the cleanest, not gonna lie. And the opponent is on Ash, Talent, Picari, MST, and AI Meteus. So this is a search target, though they get basically full combo plus 3 defensive cards. Standard Addict Knister hand, in my opinion. I hate this deck over everything, but this might be a very solid choice in the next format. Just because the power level is super low, people are flocking towards board breakers to deal with Kashtira. So this deck is really good against board breakers because they have an unaffected boss monster, but we are cheeky little motherfuckers and we are playing a shit ton of hand traps because we use our supreme skill to use the hand traps at the most crispy cleanest point possible to get maximum value out of them because we're just so fucking smart. And so we have a very decent matchup against it because 12 hand traps is actually not good, not bad against the deck, especially Nibiru completely annihilates this deck unless they have like a very specific combo. It is really good against them, and even if I think under Nibiru they cannot get more than a Heat Soul, and you can definitely handle a Heat Soul with Bystial Control, especially if you can get your lights and darks out of your hand against this cheeky little card there. Because they do actually play a light, and especially if they normal summon that, at some point they will use this to get it revived by Doyon, I should say get it back into the hand, so we do definitely have a disruption with the Bystials there. So they summon the, what's it called, Achichi. This searches a monster, so they search Yari, which is just another extender. It can tag out one and search another name, one of the high level ones. They go into Cyrus Wicked. They use the field spell to summon Doyon out of the hand. Affect Cyrus Wicked, affect Doyon, target the Pikachu, how it's called by some people, and then we use the Saronia on the Picari. We use Saronia over Drewsworm here because we wanna be able to send the Lobelion next turn, or like in this turn if we nip the opponent, and then use the Lobelion on the Drewsworm next turn. If we do it other way around, we don't really get any value of that, so we definitely use the Saronia here. They do search Bururu, yeah. And then we trigger the Branded Regain here to draw one. We get met by an MST, which is fine. It hurts a little bit. They go for talents. We have to chain Nip here, as this was the 5th summon, because they go for hand, and it just hurts to see. They will be getting rid of our Drewsworm probably in this hand. Yeah, they will get rid of the Drewsworm. And they still have Idle Reborn, Bururu, and the Hiyari. So this is just an easy access code OTK. We send a Lobelion, but honestly, at this point, they just cleanly play through because they play a Link Spider. Because as any good Cybers deck does, they lose to Nibiru, so they try to prepare for that. They go for the standard Dark Templar route, and at this point, look how many bodies they got on the field. They can just easily OTK us. And we just have to admit defeat, but that's fine. Sometimes it do be like that. We still decide to go first in the game 2. Our opening hand is Ash, Lobelion, Chaos Emperor, Dragon, Branded Beast, and Nibiru. You might be like, that's a pretty bad hand, but honestly, it is super fine. The opponent is on Raigeki, Ash, Book of Eclipse, Idle Reborn, and Addict Knister Island. Here we use the Lobelion. They let this resolve. I don't know. I would definitely Ash this one. Seems like a very solid play, in my opinion. Now we use Magnamod on the Lobelion. Effect Magnamod. We use Chaos Emperor Dragon, get back the Lobelion, so we have guaranteed follow-up next turn, which is very good. And then we go into a Branded Beast and pass Ash, Nibiru, Branded Beast is pretty solid. We get a Beldrex, so we can even have some disruption with that. We could have also gone for a Druze Worm, but in this exact scenario, 9 out of 10 times you will pop the normal summon. So it seemed very inefficient for me to get that. And with Belderic, we theoretically have some other form of disruption available to us. But honestly, it didn't really matter what we get there. I'd rather have the Druze Worm later on as a combo, as an enabler, or as a search target, so that I can break an established board or something like that. So we just searched the Belderic here. Saronir already doesn't... we could have searched the Saronir, honestly, to get Regained in the next turn already, but we have immediate access into Regained with Lubellion next turn, so we don't really need it. They just started with an Ignista Island, which is a very weird opener, so it was very clear to me that the opponent doesn't have the cleanest hand, so I always kept that in mind, and I played quite greedy, because I knew, okay, the opponent probably won't have a good opener. They go for Boobaroo into the field spell searcher, and with Boobaroo they send in Achi. So that's not really the cleanest play, and this is also why I didn't use the Branded Beast on immediately, because they already had the Ignista Island. I knew that they would be able to play through at least one pop, because they already have the island. So we just now have to get rid of the ability for them to get bodies on into the hand, because we know, okay, they summoned Bururu out of the as first one, so they probably don't have a lot of names in hand. So any way we can make them get rid of their names is very beneficial for us. I don't know why they don't throw the Raigeki here out. They probably don't respect our Branded Beast at all, because they could have make us have 0 disruption on field at least. And at this point, it's just the perfect juggle between getting value of Nip maybe and making them not have enough names in hand. So we ash the Achichi, and they go into a Splash Mage, and here we decide to use the pop on the Magnum. They could have played around that with Book of Eclipse or Raigeki. Of course, Raigeki would have been the way better option. They set a Book of Eclipse and pass. We draw a Magnum, which is a decent pickup, if I might say so. We search Lubellion. We use Lubellion. They ash that this time. A little too late. Definitely very weirdly played by the opponent. They probably, with this bad hand, couldn't have played around an Ash Nibiru anyways. So in the end, it doesn't really matter what the opponent would have done, I think. But yeah. Because if they've ashed the first thing there, we still would have had... We actually wouldn't have anything. I mean, we would have top decked the Magnum, but apart from that, that's basically it. Then the opponent, we target something with a Magnum and we just win. Yeah, I was just thinking, I think if the opponent played that better, now that I saw their hand, they could have definitely got a little more out of it if they ashed the first Lubellion, but that's also very risky, because I could have just had an Chaos Phase or something like that. So it kind of makes sense, but maybe, I don't know. It is hard. The opponent lets us go first. Very interesting choice on the opponent. We have a Nibiru again, Collab Serpent, Veiler, Infinite Impermanence, and Chaos Space. They are on Silent Mining. Fighting Spirit? Oh, Fighting Spirit. Smart one. A Chichi, MST, and Gachiri, which is just an extender. So that's a pretty solid hand. They have like 2 engine pieces, an extender, a go second card, like a lot of extenders and 1 go second card. It is fine. We have pretty solid hand. We basically have everything you might want to ask for. Like having Infinite Impermanence / Veiler plus Nibiru is super clean against any deck which came out before Poet, honestly. So here, the second dark target for the Chaos Base really comes up in Chaos Emperor Dragon. Though it won't be that good this turn, it will be a very good pickup for the future and just to have more resources going. Because if I didn't have the Chaos Emperor here, I would have been in a lot of trouble. So this, by the way, a deviation from the list you've seen in the last video. I went over it in stream and I honestly wanted to make a video out of it, but at this point I didn't fix the audio issue yet. I thought I would have fixed it, but it was not to my liking. It was way better, but it still wasn't perfect, and hopefully in this video the audio will be way better. So we search the Chaos Emperor of the Chaos Base, and then we use black to banish Veiler, search white because we link into Pisty, and then we use white to banish black. Pretty standard, nothing really heavy combo here. It's just some good old seal control. We draw Lubellion, which is the best card in our deck at this point. We resolve our white, search the black, and then we use Lubellion, pitch, Magnamud, effect Magnamud on probably Pisty. We think about it here because we are playing into a Nibiru here, but because I have Imperm plus Nib, I'm not really too concerned about in Nibiru. And this is also where tidying package in the main deck would have been very clean. So the more Nibs are being played, I might consider the tidying package over the black metal package. But I'll have to see for that, because you've already seen in game 1 I kind of heartbreak, which is definitely something which can happen with the deck, but with playing so many hand traps, having Imperm Nib is always like a safety net if these breaks happen. But 9 1-card starters is not the cleanest amount of 1-card starters. You definitely kind of want to have more, especially if your deck is not that gassy and is very control-based. But we go for the Rebellion around here, activate a Branded Beast, set an Imperm, and we search a Beldrake. Like I said again, it is just very unfeasible to get the Jerusalem value with this exact hand because of Branded Beast being on the normal summon. So Branded Beast being on so good on the normal summon. So I searched the Beldrake for a Dark Templar summon that can be very good, or just any like Splash Mage or something like that, because they have very low attack points. We can make use out of the Beldrake effectively, or force them into battle phase so that at least we can survive a turn. So they search, they draw an Ash, I think, yeah. Definitely still can be good as on the Seal, especially in this mid-rangey war we have. They go for an Achichi. We let this resolve here. They search Bikari. We could have impermed that, but it's not really that clean. And then we just remove the thing with our Rebellion, with the Branded Beast, tribute to Rebellion. They chain MST on res. We use Seal here to bounce that to the hand. Didn't want to do that because it gives them an additional card in hand. It's always way better to bounce like Link once. We thought about just bouncing the Link 1, using Impermanent and then bouncing it, but I'd rather make them use an extender, if they have any, to get into that. Because I still have a Nib in the back, so maybe the card I give them here in hand, I can make them waste again because I have the Nib, and it's just safer. Because if they're just passive, we win because we have so much gas, even through this Ash, because I have the Chaos Emperor, and I can use Beldrake to banish any of my Bystials. So it felt decent to me to do it like this, just because we have the Nib and it's so good. So they pitched the Bikari, which they searched using the Silent Mining, so they can search an additional extender in the form of Dojon, because they have the Fighting Spirit, so to revive the Bikari. Now they can use the Bikari on field. Here it is questionable if you want to negate this, because this can search Field Spell. But they just have a Field Spell search anyways, and we can just see, okay, they don't search the Field Spell, but the way they played it, it made me 100% believe that they don't have the Field Spell. Also kind of a misplay with the opponent. You probably should have searched Field Spell here. And now on this one, I was thinking maybe, okay, it seems so weird that they don't search the Field Spell, but the way they played it out, it seems like they don't have the Field Spell, because they wouldn't have gone for the Fighting Spirit. They would have just activated the Field Spell. Maybe they want to bait me, but then I thought, I have a Nib. I should be pretty safe. So I used the Nib on that, because at some point I would just use the Nib on the next push, which is probably a Splash Mage they have. And I know that they have the Gachiri in hand, and Imperm also turns this off, which is pretty clean. They use the Dark Infant to deal 500 damage because they have to basically pass. They have nothing left. And so I didn't even have to use the Nib here, just because we used our Imperm quite effectively. So using Imperm here not only didn't give them the field spell, they couldn't use their extender. So this was a very good play. And if they searched the not the Idol Reborn, but something else instead, they could have definitely played. They also could have used the Idol Reborn, right? Why didn't they use the Idol Reborn to go into Bikari? Oh yeah, because I just then now I have a Beldrake, so it would just be wasted. So in end phase here, we banish the Rebellion. This might be a misplay because it does lose to 1 Ash. I will show you guys that in a second. But I thought, okay, they only ashed me in their turn. And they didn't ash me in my turn, and they had plenty of Ash targets in that turn, so they probably don't have another Ash, so I can just get for the Rebellion in case we draw any other Bystial. In case we draw Magnamut, we can search another Bystial. Seemed like the safer play. Not the safer, but the more aggressive play, so that we have more Bystials available to us. So we use Chaos Emperor, pay 1k, get back the Rebellion. And this is what I'm speaking about by Chaos Emperor is so good in this deck now. I don't know why I didn't play it before. I was just a little scared, maybe. of bricking with it, but searching, getting back a Lubellian here out of the banished pile is so clean. There will basically always be a Bystial in there, so this just gives you so much damage on board. We use Magnamod here as the first summon our turn on the seal, effect Magnamod. We use our Lubellian here, effect Lubellian, get a regain out of the deck. That's the second summon. Then we use probably our Chaos Emperor here, right? We do have still the exact perfect amount of Lights and Darks engraved to resolve all of the effects. We use Regained here, put back the Wyvern Burster, draw one, we draw another Lubellian. That doesn't really matter because now we use as the fourth summon, use our Serenity, we got a shit ton of bodies on the field, and we can just cleanly OTK. And this is what something where I was a lot of times with the deck, where I was on the exact same game set, but I didn't have the Chaos Emperor Drain. Getting 3 Bystials on the board is quite easy with the deck, but the problem is 3 Bystials is not OTK, it is very shortly off. So having this Chaos Emperor as just this big body, just helping you facilitate OTKs is really helpful for the deck, and I can just highly recommend it to you guys. So this is it for the replay against Attic Nista. I did play more matches against the person, but I feel like this is like a very good point to leave it off for you. You saw the deck, it has changed up a little bit, a lot of hand traps, Chaos Emperor, so it is definitely a little switched from the last one. By no means this is the definitive version of the deck. The meta is hasn't even started to establish yet, so there will be a lot of changes with the deck, I feel like, at least on the defensive slots, but the engine is looking very clean, and I'm very happy with like all of the 28 engine spots I have with the deck. So now it just comes down to side deck, main deck, defensive course, and maybe some changes in the extra deck. But for those, you will definitely learn about them soon enough here on this channel or on my Twitch. The link is down in the description below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Class is dismissed. You guys are free to leave. Professor Sunreis out. Peace.